All right, hello, and welcome to session 8 of Sanctums and Spies. My name is Josh Croker. I'm the dungeon master for this game, and we are hopping in to back in, I should say, to Asarius. Before we get into the recap, I've got a little bit of housekeeping to do at the beginning here. We use music from a couple different places. Filmmusic.io is where we get some of the music. They've got fantastic music. Each of the songs that we use from filmmusic.io has information down in the panels. Including links to go and listen and download licenses for your own projects. Highly recommend. It's great music. Filmmusic.io there. We also use official music from Welcome to Taldore and Welcome to Wildmount from the great creators over at Critical Role. If you'd like to purchase those albums, there are links to a place where you can do that down in the panels. Also, highly recommend as well. Great music all around. But getting back into our session today in Asarius here, there was a day of quite a few developments, starting with the end of a discussion where the group ended up on the steps of Asarius up on the North Roads, and on the way to the Tough Test Tavern to discuss what would be the next step. There was a bump into the group, one invisible humanoid of some sort that seemed to be dripping blood as they moved into an alleyway. The group went ahead and did a little bit of attacking, a little bit of restraining, but in the end found that this person was a drow named Mornzen, and enough trust was built for the group to head back to where Mornzen stayed. And with a little bit of discussion, it was found out that Mornzen was part of a group called the Helpers, ones who wanted to make sure that things were as fair as possible in Asarius, at least as fair as they could make them. And it was discussed that the Bajuli Nadro estate, where Mornzen was investigating, had rumors of more than just trading in animals, possibly trading in humanoids as well. The group decided that they had an opportunity. They were given an official task to go visit the Nadro estates. And so with a bit of infiltration, a bit of being kept, or rather staying outside the walls for some, on the inside but invisible for others, the group investigated the Nadro estates and found, after a discussion with a eager dog, that there is a stable made for raising canines that might be the likely building where there are humanoids being kept, humanoids that are meant for trade. After the successful investigation, the group went back to the Helpers to discuss next steps. And enough trust was built then for them to share some of their goals, some of the things they had been doing in Asarius, and again to discuss next steps. Acacia also went and had a discussion with Cathona Thalis, the drow of Den Thalis, who Lady Zethris had offered as help to the group, help and a guide down into, if the group decided to descend into the cavern system that seemed to be at least similar in description to the hole in the creeks that had started all of this. After returning to the Helpers in a night of sleep, that is where we will pick up with Uria having spent the day in Asarius away from the group and having met a new humanoid. We'll go ahead and let Gloriel, if you'd like to give a description of your character, as we'll say that Uya and Gloriel are walking along to the Helpers' hideout to meet up with the rest of the group after having found out where they had been staying.
So I think when people first see Gloriel, they have a bit of a mental jerk, because for the most part, she looks pretty much like an average dark elf. Her skin is maybe a little more on the pinkish side than average, but nothing too out of the ordinary. But the thing is, her hair and her eyebrows are both very emphatically blonde. Not white at all, blonde. It's a sandy blonde. Um, and you would realize that she is a half elf, actually, with a human parent. Um, Once you get over that initial shock, though, she's tall, about 5'10" ish, solidly built, broad shoulders, a fairly imposing figure. She's wearing a long navy um, coat, copper fittings, very straightforward, simple, but not like poor simple, just like tradesman simple, average person simple. Brown tunic and slacks. She has a large battle axe slung across her back. Again, tooled in copper. That seems to be a little bit of a theme for her. And around her neck, she has a black scarf. Where, if you look closely, you can see that there is copper wiring sewn throughout it. And she does have her hair up in a bun.
And as the two go and knock on the door of the Helper's Hideout for the first time, the door is answered by a male drow who looks back to the group as, we'll say, Acacia and Jawan here in this main entrance by the door, and see the two of them. As Gloriel and Udia are there. And what Udia and Gloriel would see at this point, when you walk up to the building that was described to you to go find the rest of your party, on the outside, it's a rather small warehouse. It's not huge, but as you get close, you can look inside and see shelving, on different walls from the floor up to the ceiling with different simple things, textiles, fabrics, nothing really out of the ordinary. But however, when the door is opened, you can see that there is a difference in what's on the shelves. It seems that the windows from the outside do have some kind of enchantment to create an illusion and not show those who are sitting here in this main room. But the drow welcomes the two of you in with a bit of an apprehensive nod, but a look on the face of welcoming. It says, welcome. My name is Mornzen. We've been meeting with your friends over the past day, and they vouched for you, so we're happy to have you here in our humble abode.
It is an honor to serve the dynasty.
I just kind of look at Gloriel, and I'm just like, what the fuck did I get myself into? And I look at the guy, and I just start scratching my neck. That's it.
Okay. As that is happening, and Gloriel says that, gives a nod and says, "Please come in. We have seats." And you see Acacia and Jawan sitting there at a table with a few seats. There is also another elvish figure who is already sitting there at the table, and that is a pallid elf. Very evident, with very fair skin, very light, blonde, almost whitish hair, who gives a nod as well. And says, my name is Silvari. It is nice to meet you.
Pleasure. I'm Gloriel.
Uda. Where's Winnie?
I believe I saw your friend still off. Seemed a bit tired still this morning. And right at that moment, you see coming in from the other room the professor as well. And just to give a little update here, Professor walks into the room seeing Udia, Keisha, and Jawan at a table, as well as a new person with.
Don't worry, everyone. I know exactly what's happening. I was here the whole time listening, so all good.
I start my smile just turns more and more into a grimace, and my itching just gets worse.
And I think I do look around and see just how sparse the dark elven representation is here, or even traditional dynasty races, and do have a little bit of a twitch in my right eye as I start to wonder what I've gotten myself into.
Winnie, I mean, you notice that Winnie is a bugbear. So a little bit. I know that drow and
Good
bugbear.
call. Yes.
Yeah, and before we get to that, Winnie, as you woke up in the morning, you felt very disturbed by the dreams of the night before. Go ahead and roll a history check to see if you can remember any of the details, specifically of the emblem that you were trying to recall, and see if you could remember the details of what that was.
23.
23. Very nice. Okay. All right. So with a 23, you would recognize that it is the emblem of Den Vasun.
VHASUN. And did she recognize the goblin at all?
Not specifically.
And she recalls that one of the Umavi who are on their way here as a goblin, Sky Sybil Miriam.
Correct. Yes, is considered the historian Umavi, one of the oldest of the Umavi, almost as old as the Bright Queen herself. You don't remember specifically the face, but it does kind of tickle your brain a little bit.
All right, Winnie is taking breaths that are not reaching her lungs, and with shaking hands, takes out her silver bowl, fills it with water, and washes her face, and washes her hands, and washes her face, and washes her hands, and again. Steadies herself. Does she remember anything else from the dream?
Nothing else from the dream. But while you're washing your face and then washing your hands, repeating that cycle over, about the fourth cycle, you look at the reflection back in the water, just for the briefest second. It almost looks like someone else. But it seems it's just a trick of the light, the candlelight flickering in an odd way.
Puts her things away, and nothing puts her off her food. She's going to eat some breakfast.
Okay. And would Winnie join the group then?
Yes.
Okay. So to that point, L'Oreal, you see a bugbear kind of walking out of one of the side rooms, coming out to join us in the group. And at this point, everybody, including Mornzin and the Paladelf as well, are sitting around the table, and you can discuss as you would like the next steps and what has happened so far.
Well, I mean, as we kind of have a big decision here, with the information we have on where the Nadro estate is keeping the slaves. I mean, we have the option of either going in and dealing with it ourselves, or giving that information over to the new leadership in Den Holios and as a sort of test as to whether or not they're serious about actually wanting to help. I'm sure you guys can all know and where I stand on this, but I want this to be a decision made by everyone involved.
I don't trust those people as far as I can throw them.
I have an intuition that if we're here when the Umavi get here, there will be trouble. I think we should go into the tunnels. It will also keep the racers safe.
Maybe we give the information over, and while they're dealing with that, we can go into the tunnels.
Yeah, it'll be a test for them and safety for us.
Can I get on the floor and start setting up my tea and the bones?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. You do so, no problem. The Paladolf stands up and kind of comes and looks intriguingly. Do you mind if I observe your ritual? I'm quite curious about things that are unfamiliar to me.
Sure.
I have to ask, is everything okay? I noticed a bit of an odd scratching. Do you have some kind of... we have salves or something if you need to help with something like that?
I don't know. Like, a couple of days ago, like a rash started coming up. And I don't know why. It just came out all of a sudden. I haven't done anything different.
And have you spent much time in Osiris here in the City of Beasts?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like a week?
Oh, I see. Give me just a moment. And she goes, and you can hear some rifling around. It comes out with a small box that has like a forget-me-not type flower in blue on the top of it, and opens it up. What's a little canister? Here, if you don't mind, I can apply for you.
Good.
Okay. Well,
Thank you.
yeah. It is as such that it is also a bit of a calming effect. Many who enter the City of Beasts for the first time can be a bit put off by the busyness, all of the distractions, the smells. There's a sensory overload to many. And often when there are very specific issues that I can understand as a Paladelf who came into the city, that some of that irritation may come to the surface, but this should help.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't notice it when I first got here, and it's honestly been fine. I've started like getting these rashes, and it's like around her neck, and then kind of like it looks like a tank top. Like the rash looks like a tank top. It's very obvious where it's from, but she has no idea.
And as Silvaria kind of notices, she gives a little bit of a smile on the side of her mouth. Well, I can guarantee you that the salve will help and will ease the tension either way.
All right. Okay, I'll just grab it and like put it next to the teapot.
Okay. It has like a nice eucalyptus minty smell to it. It feels very, very natural, very wild, and it feels nice because the city has a lot of dust, a lot of animals, and instantly that smell, it feels like you're in the woods for a second. It feels like nature has surrounded you just a bit, and it's almost like a little bit of sense of calm. That even just the sense memory of what those wood like smells come from. It gives a nice little just additional boost to the ritual as you do it.
Oh, cool. So yeah, I kind of like do my thing, and then the course of action that I'm thinking is going and telling Dan Olios about the slaves.
Okay.
Now, I admit I'm new to this discussion, but I can promise you that Danolios means only the best for the dynasty. They're a well-respected house. However, I have no love of slavers, so I have no particular objection to knocking some heads together if they are indeed involved in that. Could you tell me more about these tunnels you speak of?
Do we want to get the augury first?
We'll do the augury here. As the ritual for augury, as you go through it and throw out the bones that were collected here in Asarius, you get the sense that these would be real results, that a favorable outcome.
With the tunnels, when we initially, myself and Winnie and Yuria, initially were brought together to investigate a sinkhole that had appeared in the Cretes. When we went down, we discovered that there was what appeared to be ruins of a temple of some kind. Inside there were lizard folk conducting some form of ritual, which brought about these. And she sort of motions up with her hand and shows the bracers. And it seems that there is a second set of tunnels that leads into another temple or another ruin of some kind, and the den wants us to investigate and see what we can find, and I mean, maybe if we're fortunate enough, we can track down another piece of whatever these are. And not only that, but it does keep us out of the direct line of sight from the Umavi when they arrive.
I'm a little uncertain what your concern is of the Umavi, but the goal does sound a worthwhile one. I would be willing to accompany you if you wish to go to these tunnels.
The concern with the Umavi is solely to protect one of our members for reasons we don't know and don't intend to ask. It's her business to share when she feels necessary.
We also don't trust any of these people. Or I don't trust any of these people. I don't trust Anolius. I don't trust any of them.
And you don't trust me.
And I don't trust him.
Hello.
Yes, and you definitely see Gloriola's eye definitely twitching as you say that, but she's not going to actually say anything out loud. She's sort of.
Juwan, did you have? I think I had a question earlier.
I mean, I was just gonna throw my name in the hat for going in the tunnels. I'll think about the closest to getting the fuck up out of this city for a day that we're going to get for the foreseeable future. And y'all know I'm kind of over all of these, so that's just sort of where my two couple would go.
Well, do we want to head for the hold, and we can get the information for heading to the tunnels and pass along the information from the Nadro estate?
I think that's a good idea. I'll say, if we're going down to the tunnels, I think we seriously consider coming out the other side.
I mean, that's what you and I are for, right?
Yeah.
Mortensen chimes in here at this point too. If you'd like to pass on this information to Lady Zethris, we can keep an eye on the Nandro estate and see how things develop. Keep a distance, not get involved, but report back to you how things play out.
I think that's a grand idea. And if we're going into the tunnels and talking about coming out another side, until very recently, I'd never left the Cretes and never left Asarius. Can you, Morzin, get a letter to my family?
I can, if you tell me where they're at here in Asarius. I'd be happy to. I don't know that I do it myself, but one of us can easily deliver. Yes.
Oh, sure. It's a big family in the Cretes, one of the farming towns, and I'll address a letter to Alex and Eliza Milne.
Okay, got it.
Dear Mom and Dad, I think I have to go away for a while. My dreams have gotten worse, and I don't want to put you at risk, but I'm with good friends, and I'm okay. I'll see you later. I'm not going away forever, but I have important business to do. Very important. To help Asarius and the Cretes. Give my love to Christopher, George, Thomas. Tell Robin I'm sorry. Kiss Angelica and Peggy for me. I'll contact you when I'm back in town. Love, Winnie.
And Morzin takes the letter and places it on the table until one of them is able to take it to the Cretes to deliver to your family. Okay. So, is there any other discussion to be had, or is the group heading off to the Aurora Hold?
I think we're off to the hold.
Okay. With a goodbye from the helpers, as the group leaves, you hear, "Oh, hey, wait, everybody! Do you want me to come with you, or should I stay here and help them?" As Buzzmonk, the group's new goblin mage sidekick, asks what he should be doing during all of this.
I think it's best that you stay with the helpers for now. They could probably use someone of your skill.
All right, I'll do what I can. I'll consider myself one of them, if that's okay with the rest of you. And the two goblins that are part of the group behind him are like, kind of, we'll find some use for you, sure. We'll put you to work. Kind of has a smile on his face, especially after the loss of his brother recently. Looks like a more kind of fulfilled smile than you've seen the past couple of days. Yeah, okay, great. Well, be safe, everybody. I hope everything goes well. We see you all soon.
As we leave, Juwan just kind of like gets up close to Acacia. So, I don't mean to be rude or anything, but what skills in particular are we lending him for?
It's more to keep him safe. And if it gives him the confidence boost to stay behind and help, then that's the best gift that I can offer him.
Can
You know,
I?
You're,
Can I say-
We'll finish the conversation first, and we'll get to that.
Okay.
you're a pretty alright person, Acacia.
I try. And the Everlight brought me out of not being an alright person. So I try to do right by her and make right the things that I've done wrong in my past. And if that means, I don't know, just leaving some positivity and happiness somewhere, then that's what I'm here for.
Pretty ambitious goals, but it's a good thing you got them. And Juwan just sort of steps away.
Udia, what were you wanting to do?
Sorry, I thought y'all were done. I didn't mean to butt in like that. I want to stay back. I want to leave last. And the coin with the Mark of the Ashari on it that I have, I want to give that to them to deliver to Whitney's family with a letter. And tell them that if they need help, ever need help, to go to a port and show that coin around until they find safe passage out of here.
Whoever delivers the message, I will make sure that that they receive the coin as well. It is a noble gesture to offer the safety to someone who might be considered a lower class member of the Cretes here in Osiris. There is much honor in that. They need all the help they can get out there.
She's not a lower class member. She's my friend.
No, I understand, and I believe that too. And the last day we've been explaining to your friends some of the things we do to help those in the Cretes, to redistribute the wealth from those who believe they might be above those, just that many perceive to be lower class. You're right, they are not. And we hope to make sure that balance is a bit restored here in Osiris.
Yeah. Good luck with that. These people suck.
We are doing what we can. We appreciate the help that you've given us as a group already, and hope that we can continue to find ways to help those who need it, those who are looked down on. The Sky Sibyl is very noble herself, and we here have some hope that with her she will bring some of the equality that has found its way to other settlements that are primary goblins in the dynasty.
I hope so.
Does Winnie hear this?
I would say, how far back were you staying on that?
I'm waiting for everybody to leave.
Waiting for everybody to leave? Okay, then I would say...
Do-de-do-de-do.
Yeah.
Okay, I will say for me, you may notice when as L'Oreal leaves, she's straight backed, very confidently walking. But as we get closer and closer to the Aurora Hold, she first slips into sort of the tall person's slouch, where they're trying to seem less tall. And I don't know how much we're gonna have in the way of travel. By the time that she gets there, she's very much cringing in on herself, like I don't really want to be seen, and I don't really feel like I even belong here, sort of a look.
Oh, welcome to the club.
Gloria, were you trying to say something to me? Get down on my level or something? I mean, I'll appreciate it, but you don't really have to. I mean, is everything all right?
Was that to me?
No, it was Gloria.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, I'm sorry. No, I just
I just wasn't sure. You started coming down to my level. I wasn't sure if you were trying to get my attention or something. I was just checking in.
No, I just no. And she leaves it at that.
Joanne will press no further.
So as the group has little bits of discussion walking up to the Aurora Hold, you see the familiar doors, the stained glass windows above the doors, pagoda-like structure of the Aurora Hold here that now on the steps can look over, and not from a huge height, but can see over most of Osiris, and can see bits of smoke and steam rising from campfires, chimneys in the buildings that are up here in the North Roads, campfires down in the creeks or the pits neighborhood. Looks almost industrial in the amount that is here now as the night comes to a close, and some of the fires are put out, creating some of the smoke that you see. You do see off in the distance from up here now the large horizon-back turtle, still miles off outside of Osiris, but its large form slowly lumbering toward the city as a reminder of the fact that the day after next, the Umavi will be arriving. You enter into the Aurora Hold, pulling the familiar rope with the bell. After telling the attendant you're here, 15-20 minutes pass. You're greeted by the familiar faces of the leader of Asarius, Lady Zethris Oleos. This time wearing long purple gowns, lacking the extra adornments or shoulder pads that she was wearing previously. Chthona in a very similar outfit that she had been wearing.
Expecting the other turd, whose name I will continue to refuse to remember, Uria is on the couch, same as always, feet on top, dirty boots. And then
I think it's safe to assume, if Uria's in this waiting area here in the foyer, there's boots on the couch.
There's boots on the couch. However, as soon as she realizes Turd Face is not there, she kind of gets up and goes, "Damn it."
Okay. And there isn't any, sour looks or any kind of acknowledgement of that, besides just the courtesy of the looks of the two of them. Lady Zethris is first to speak. It is good to see you all again. And you can see her gaze turn to Gloriel, another member of your group. There's strength in numbers, and that may be needed.
Honor to serve, milady.
An honor to have you. Tell me, what brings you to the hold today? Have decisions been made about what comes next?
They have. We've decided that we will venture into the tunnels.
Lady Zethris and Chthona look at each other. Lady Zethris looks back. Good. Information is very valuable. And I believe that your knowledge and what you found before may offer insight into what they're researching down there, and vice versa. But I think either way we need answers.
All we'll need is a guide of how to get there, and while we're on the subject of information, there's a matter at the Nadro Estate that has come to our attention that I would say would require the Den's attention, but I think it might require your attention directly. And I would recommend taking a good handful of Aurora Watch with you.
That sounds quite serious.
In the direwolf pen, underneath the hay bales. There's a wooden floor, a trapdoor. I don't think you'll be pleased to know what they have been trading out of that hole.
She gives a long sigh. Broduli Nadro has been overly generous to Denolios. And although I have not had many interactions myself, those have mostly been left to my sister. I will make sure that this matter is dealt with appropriately and with much haste.
Can I get an inside check on this chick?
Yeah, absolutely. Turn on the insight check.
$15.
15?
16.
16. Okay. I would say you sense that she's being truthful. You sense that her intent to take care of it is sincere. With the 16, you do pick up a bit of anger as well. It doesn't seem directed at the group currently, but it's just a bit of a twitch in the forehead. But you can tell there's clenching going on in the jaw that you haven't seen from Lady Zethris before in the previous conversation.
I kind of turn to Acacia and go, I really like her. But just her.
Yeah, she seems like the type to get shit done around here.
Well, hopefully before they move their product, as it were, you get yourself and a few members of the watch over there to handle the situation while we take care of the tunnels.
I believe both situations require haste, and I will make sure that this is not just addressed with haste, but with the swiftish punishment that I am authorized to give. This is not what Asaria stands for. And I will not let Den Olios be bribed into turning a blind eye. And you can see you're getting a little worked up here. And you can see your nostrils flare up just a bit to take a big deep breath, almost as if this is about as out of control as her emotions get. Exhales the breath. Thank you. Asarius thanks you, as do I. You shall have your guide here in Cathona. She will lead you where you need to go and take you down to the tunnels. And stay with you as long as you need.
I think we should take our leave. Thank you again, Lady Zethris.
Thank you all. Asarius, I will not forget what you have done for it.
And I feel like I should probably make this known. Acacia is wearing the bracers at this point.
Okay, got it. Is Acacia trying to
No.
hide them at all? Okay.
No.
Okay, got it. Lady Zethris kind of has a turn of the shoulders. Well, I have some things to deal with and many more inquiries to begin. If what you say is true, then this cannot be allowed to happen again. This guy's... No. I wish you all the best of luck, and I will see you all soon. Cathona, safe travels. She says, safe travels, my lady. As she bows her head. Gloriel, and this would be the first time you see Cathona, a kind of pale gray and purple skinned drow, pale red hair, kind of a contrast to Acacia's bright red hair, and small little tiefling horns that kind of hug the head a bit. And she looks to the group after Lady Zethris turns and returns to the door that the two of them came from.
Oh, before you leave, I forgot. So the direwolves kind of like told us what was down there, and so you don't have any troubles, and I don't know, I think they kind of earned it. If you have any sort of like delicacy type proteins, meats round, probably be in your best interest to take that. Probably theirs too, but like I said, I think they kind of earned it. I don't know. I'll leave that in your court.
She turns back and smiles for the first time in this interaction with the group. At least a big, sincere smile. And says, they will be rewarded as they deserve. Thank you all for looking out for all of the creatures. There's a breath of fresh air here. And turns and walks back into the hold. And Cathona turns to the group and says, well, is everybody ready to depart, or do you need some more time to get ready?
I could use to swing by the Raven's Quill on our way out.
Absolutely. Why don't we do this? Meet me here in the North Center Industrial District. And gives a small map of the area. This house here. Come and give this knock. And she goes over to the wall and kind of gives a little patterned knock. I'll be there waiting, and we can go from there.
Off we go.
All right. So Cathona kind of hangs out while the group leaves, now back on the steps of the Aurora Hold. Close to the Raven's Quill, if you'd like to head that way.
I also would like to go visit my creepy friend.
The creepy friend? Okay, got it. Okay, so we'll say we've got two teams then, Raven's Quill and the Weeping Skeleton crew for whoever wants to, if anybody wants to do any, get anything else there as well.
I will go with Uria, but I will hand off a pouch to Winnie with, we'll say 500 gold.
That's more money than
That was the best
ever
time
seen in their life.
ever. It's not even half of the current funding, so
Shopping! What's that movie scene where they're rolling around in dollar bills?
You're Scrooge McDuck diving in some coin.
so painful. So painful. All right. Ready, team? Break.
So with that, Winnie, Gloriel, Jawan, and the professor headed to the Raven's Quill. And let me get my notes up here. Yeah. All right, and so you return to the familiar storefront here of the Raven's Quill. And this is the kind of in that same plaza as the Temple of the Luxon. And a familiar sight to those who have been in Asarius for a while. It's a Winnie and Gloriel have seen the temple many times. And a little bit of time was spent here at the Raven's Quill before. Jawan kind of heads off with the group to go take a little nap while some shopping is done. Leaving Winnie, the professor, and L'Oreal, and walk into the store. And there, at this point, is a set of 4 glowing lights, spherical, kind of hovering over the ground in a slow rotation over this small entrance here to the store, and see the familiar face, half elf. Half orc, and kind of a gray-green skin, and greets the group. Welcome back to the Quill. What can we get for you today?
Oh, I was wondering if you had any more of that fancy incense. You know, the honey and lavender?
Ah, yes. One of my favorites. How much did you need today?
Well, we're going to be going away for a while. Maybe 5 bundles?
5 bundles. I think that can be arranged. Give me a moment. And heads back into the back room. And just a short amount of time later, comes out with a small satchel wrapped in just like a little cloth. It says, for 5 bundles, that will be 50 gold.
Okay. And do you have any of that fancy paper?
Yes, and kind of starts to bend over, pulls out a big box. You see the gilded paper with the edges, just very nice, just pristine looking paper here.
Oh, it's so expensive, but it's so lovely. Can I have 150 gold's worth?
Absolutely, I'd be happy to accommodate. And pulls out a bit of a stack, counts the last couple pages to make sure it's the right amount. Pulls out another kind of square cloth. It's bigger than a sheet of paper. Sets it down, folds it over, gets a nice little kind of piece of yarn, ties it in a nice little bow, and hands it over.
I think that's Does anybody else need anything?
Professor named Glorielli here in the Raven's Quill. It looks like there's some shelves with some random curios, a couple, mostly there are some books in here as well on the shelves that you can kind of look through. But generally, just kind of a bookstore, paper supply store, a few magical items, just very kind of low level stuff as you browse around the shelves in the store here.
I think I'm good. I appreciate it though.
Professor, do you want another book? Have you read them all?
No, I'm still working on the others. You know, in my younger years, I would have finished these all in just a couple of minutes, but these days, my eyes aren't so good. I got to take my time, so I'm good on books for now.
Okay. Guess you wouldn't happen to have any spell scrolls, would you?
You do have some low level spells. What are you looking for?
You know, I don't know. We're going to be going into the tunnels and investigating, and there might be danger. Do you have something that could be useful for that?
That'll take a moment to look into, see if we have anything that might be available. Give me a second, and I'll see what we have. And goes into the back again. Definitely takes much longer than the incense this time, but does bring out 3 spell scrolls. All first or all entry level spells. Nothing too advanced.
Well, I'm not very advanced. I'm not proud. What do you have?
So we do have this first one here. It is often used to get a non-lethal way to rid different areas of creatures or beasts that might be attacking. This one is Cause Fear. And I have one here, a bit more telekinetic from the Transmutation School. Also has Catapult. Finally, this one is not necessarily for fighting, but it allows you to set an alarm against anybody who might be going in front of you or trying to get into somewhere you're at. This one is the alarm spell.
Oh, those are all very nice. How much is each of them?
Each of them today would be 75 gold pieces.
Oh, my math sucks. Can I have a bulk discount? She gives a big grin.
Go ahead and roll persuasion check.
Oh no, she's a bugbear. She's not gonna roll. 5.
5. Well, I do appreciate the repeat business, but demand is quite high for spell scrolls these days.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I cannot offer a discount.
Maybe. I don't know about the alarm one because I have my little friend who can keep watch for me. Gosh, I don't know. 75. Why don't I take 2 of them? I'll take the Cause Fear and the alarm for 150.
All right, and I believe that brings the total for everything today to 350 gold pieces.
Okay, and then and she's going to hand the sack to the professor. I can't do it. You pay. And she's also going to look. Do they have any little trinkets there? Little.
Oh, sure. Yeah. They mostly look to be small 12-sided charms that hang from the necklace, or some that just look like they sit on the counter.
Maybe any little carvings or dolls or a little bear or something?
No bears, no carving specifically. It is a little bit more, it's kind of like finer goods here. I would say that there is a section that has different standards to different gods. that
she'll
are.
wait. She'll see if she can pick something up on the street market.
Sure.
She's like, Professor, I can't hold this money and I can't pay it. You do it. And she shoves the purse in his hands.
Sure. What I just complete the transaction.
Sure, yeah, and this
Happy to help.
half orc kind of has an odd look on his face as he takes the gold. Right.
Right.
Right. Well, thank you for your business. And as he kind of is like trying to pick up on the vibe and looks at the professor specifically.
Just
Thank you for
thumbs
your
up.
business today.
Big thumbs up, big smile.
Great. Well, if you need anything, I'll be here at the quilt. Okay. Anything else here at the Raven's Quilt?
Nope. And she didn't spend it all, although she was might have. It's like, no. That was more money. Winnie just spent more money than she has ever seen in her lifetime.
Got it. Okay. So, Unia and Acacia heading back through the North Roads area into the Creeds, closer. It's like kind of on the North Road side of the Creed, so you don't have to travel too far into it. But you have that change from more paved roads, your cobblestone roads, to the dirt paths of the Creeds. And you find your way to the familiar wooden building with some portions painted black. You're very kind of old late 1800s, manor looking, very creepy in appearance. The familiar building of the Weeping Skeleton. As you head in, you see a goblin going into the back and coming around the front counter area, the familiar form of the gray-skinned deep gnome Dreadmel. He sees the two of you. Welcome back to the Weeping Skeleton. Are you here for arrangements or for product?
Product. But I might want to talk about arrangements.
Gets a wide smile. Always happy to discuss. Discounts can always be added on with a bit of an agreement about what might happen to yourself after you expire from this plane. Mm-hmm. But first, I need to know what you need.
Do you have... Those were ears, dog ears. Do you have any moss, mushrooms, any plant that would be useful, like underground?
Are you looking to grow this moss? Useful in what way?
Useful as in, I don't know, it glows in the dark, or it, makes bats not eat me. Anything like that.
Well, we do have a variety of a blue moss. When added to one of our specially formulated masks, our specially formulated mask, it acts as a particulate filter. Excuse me. That might be something that would be in certain underground caverns quite valuable, depending on if you run into any poisons or anything. And in regards to light, we do have a few bioluminescent mushroom species that we've been growing. New to the apothecary here, but we'd be happy to harvest some of them now.
How much are the masks? Or like the combo of the mask with the moss?
The mask plus the moss would cost you 5 gold pieces.
All right, I'll take 6 of them.
Fantastic. Give me just a moment. I'll gather this up for you. And moves over to one of the shelves. And it's a kind of an odd setup in here. When you walk in the front door, there's kind of a central square room. And there's a little bit of a doorway. No door, but it leads to what looks like some storage in the front side room there. And you see the deep gnome rifling through some drawers, pulls out 6 masks, and then yells out, excuse me, yells out, Groyston! Groyston! We need to harvest some of the blue moss. And you hear a yell back, I ain't giving up! And after about 2 or 3 minutes, brings out what looks to be like a little square. It's almost like a small little mini planter box that has this blue moss growing in it. Excuse me, gotta tickle my throat. And it fits into the mask, and then the mask can be placed over. It kind of has like a little bit of a steampunky vibe to it.
All right. And how many uses for the moss?
What was the question? I'm sorry.
How many uses on the moss? Or how long can we use it for?
The moss should be good for about 6 months before it needs to be replaced. We sell replacements for 3 gold apiece. That is where the majority of the price comes from on these.
I turn to Acacia and I go, we don't need more than 6 months, right?
I'm definitely hoping that we're not going to be in those tunnels for 6 months.
Okay. So I'll take that. The bioluminescent mushrooms.
Yes. Like I said, rather new, but right now they're about 6 inches tall and provide about 15 feet of dim light or so. Honestly, they're more decoration than anything at this point. But if you need a bit of dim light, they can help.
All right, maybe not that. Do you have herbalism kits?
We do, yes. Do you just need one?
How many you got?
Currently, I believe we have 4 stocked.
How much are they each?
7 gold pieces per.
I'll take all 4 of them.
Fantastic. So, if my math is correct, that is 58 gold pieces for your purchase today. And was there any discussion? And he looks at Acacia as well. Any discussions or arrangements for what would happen to yourself after you die? We can make a harvesting arrangement where we could give quite a steep discount.
No, I don't think that's necessary. Although I have a strange request, maybe.
Well, the Weeping Skeleton, Apothecary and Funeral Services, is the perfect place for strange requests.
I'm looking to get a pair of rings, platinum, made of platinum. I need them for a spell that I've been working on, and I need a pair of platinum rings for them.
I don't have any here at the store. If you're willing to pay a bit of a premium, I could pull something out of my personal collection. I do have a bit of fine jewelry myself, as I have been a collector over the years.
What would you be looking for the pair?
Well, kind of feel him reaching in to a pocket. 125 gold pieces for the pair.
I'll take it. Thank you.
Fantastic. And looks back to Udia. And for you, any arrangements? After death, we can make sure that your body does not go to waste in the ground.
I kind of want my body to turn into mushrooms or something pretty, like flowers.
Understood.
One last thing. Do you happen to have sand or holy water?
We do carry quite a bit of holy water. Yes, and many of our after death rites, it is used in religious rituals at the request of those who have died. I'd be happy to provide whatever you need. Holy water.
I'll take a bottle, yeah.
Fantastic. Why don't we call it an even 60 gold then for your purchase?
Amazing.
Fantastic. If you want to mark off 60 gold and 125 for the player platinum rings.
Hold on.
So, if you have any apothecary needs or any funeral service needs, the Weeping Skeleton is the place for you. We look forward to your return.
I have a question that has nothing to do with apothecary needs or funeral services.
I hope I can answer.
Mm-hmm. You're a deep gnome, right?
I am. What gave it away?
Are you from the area?
Not originally. No, I come from Taldore myself. I spent a bit of time in a land I don't remember very well, and over the last few decades, ended up here.
So far away from home.
Judging by the looks of the two of you, it seems like you may be as well. Perhaps we're kindred spirits.
Do you happen to know anything about underground cave systems near here?
Not any near here, no. Any knowledge I had would have been near my home, and I don't have much knowledge of that anymore. It's been over a century since I've been back there. To be honest, I keep away from the ground. Anything below 6 feet is a bit unnerving to me. I know that may seem odd as a deep gnome, but there's a bit of bad memories there.
Mm. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you for your purchases. Whether
Yeah,
alive or dead, we look forward to your return.
Okay. That's it. I don't know if Acacia needed anything else from...
Nope, just the rings. And she seems like real uneasy. When you say these come from your personal collection, did they come from a client?
They were received as payment for funeral services in the past, yes.
So they belonged to somebody that you performed the funeral services for, or they were used as payment from the family?
If I remember correctly on the specific pair, a bit of both. A widow used the payment of her and her husband's rings to arrange for the proper funeral services, and a bit of money to support herself after get back on her feet after the death of her husband.
I appreciate the information. Thank you.
Thank you. May they serve you well. Okay. And yeah, like little stuff, any market stalls where there's crafting supplies or needle and thread or any basic things you guys want to add, we can do that rather than do too much shopping. Excuse me. So with that, the two groups head back, unless there's anything anybody else wants to do.
So Juwan is having a little trouble napping as he's sort of like leaned up against a tree. Of one little leftovers of a tree that he could find. And he is torn on whether or not he should try that dream powder again that he received, because it doesn't feel like the effects were what it was supposed to be last time, and
Sure.
maybe it was just because of the hustle and bustle of the tavern. And so he pulls out a little sack and just sort of sits there, stares at it for a few minutes.
You see, it's a kind of granular brown, looks almost like brown sugar to you as you kind of inspect it in your hands underneath this tree.
And he just sort of scoops some out and tries a little more.
Okay, go ahead and mark off one of the doses
Done.
from the inventory list for that. And from there, go ahead and roll a Constitution saving throw.
You're right on par. Oh wait, I'm a halfling. I don't have to take that natural one.
Hey, there you go.
How about a 19?
19, very
Got
good.
lucky this time.
Okay. So you just a little of this illicit substance here. As you do, you feel this almost electric energy pass through your body. It's energizing.
What shit? It's the exact opposite of what I wanted. Oh, fuck. Shit. Let me try to run this off. And Juwan starts running in the only direction that he can really think to go, and that's going to be towards the Tough Tusk. By the time he makes it there, he'll probably realize that that's not where he's supposed to be and start running back over towards the north side of the city.
Got it. And an odd sight running through the neighborhoods of Asarius here. This halfling feeling the effects of that soothe pretty heavily. You do, however, get the sense that this electricity running through you isn't just how you feel. It is attached to your magic as well, and the next spell that you cast will have double the duration that it normally would.
Long Strider. As I pick up speed.
And now the odd image of a halfling running through Asarius turns even odder as a very quick halfling is speeding through Asarius. Running through the streets of Asarius. Go ahead and just roll me a general dexterity check to see how well you can
stay on my
dodge
feet.
the people in the streets. Yeah, exactly.
23.
23.
Like the most deft hippie at a festival, I maneuver through, passing by people almost seamlessly, untouching them.
Awesome. And you make it back to the Northwoods area, and as you do, you feel pretty drained. You feel this odd little bit of kind of magical residue happening, but you feel like you are tired and you probably could sleep now. But not necessarily because it was kind of, it was aiding you in a different way. It took all your energy. It didn't put you in a state where you felt rested or anything like that.
I'm gonna take a nap. I'm gonna take a nap right here. Right here.
Okay. Standing up.
If I have something vaguely my height to lean against, yeah, probably.
You do so, you lean back, and your eyes just kind of close. And as they close, your world is enveloped in purple. You look around now as your eyes open to a different world. A forest. Purple trees. Odd leaves. You see what at first you think is a squirrel running through about 10, maybe 20 feet in front of you here. As you look closer, it's not a squirrel. It's some kind of weird arachnid with an odd tail and sticky fibers across all its body. It's quick though. Jumps like a squirrel.
Chase it.
You start chasing it. Go ahead and roll. Let's call it an athletics check for catching up to this quick little creature.
19.
19. Okay. You catch up to it after probably about 50, 60 feet of running, and it turns, and you see it now. It's weird. It seems to have some kind of golden face. It raises up on its back legs with this odd, kind of fuzzy scorpion-like tail, with its front spider legs as they move up. And you can see now that this thing's probably pretty big. You're not sure if it was this big when you first saw it. Maybe a foot tall now. Raises back on its back legs, extends out the front legs, and
I just throw it backwards. Throw it away from me.
okay, got it. It's got long thorns and it gets thrown. And as you do, you can see it spinning. And as it starts to spin, it throws out its legs in odd directions, and you see little, almost like claws at the end of each of them. And you throw it spinning to the ground. It lands, kicking up dust.
Reach for my swords, which probably are not there.
Nothing there.
I just sort of put my fists up and just slowly back up, keeping my eye on it.
There's a weird movement that it has here. It starts to spin. It uses two of its legs to spin. It sticks the tail out, extends out the other 6 legs, and starts to spin. After a few rotations, does an odd jump flip. And this now spinning mass of insect is coming at you. You start to see sticky hairs come off of it. And right as it gets in front of you, you start to feel something went on your leg. But your eyes are closed now. You're not in a forest anymore. You hear the sounds of people walking by.
Just very slowly open my eyes back up to sort of get my bearings.
As you do, here right at the edge of the North Roads district, there's a drunken goblin who's currently got a stream going, peeing on your leg, wobbling back and forth. Hey, got any of that you want to share?
Yeah, here, take it. And I just hand him
Surprise
the
look.
entire bag and just sort of like push it off and just walk away. Not necessarily with the same speed as he was moving before, but definitely a brisk grandma at the mall on Monday.
Yeah, there you go. The morning power one. The goblin kind of, hey, Grimshank, we got some drugs, man. Just like kind of very slurry, very mumbly, starts a very excited walk towards the group that he was with. And takes the rest of the doses of your sood off with them in a very drunk state. Could be dangerous what happened there. But you are able to make your way. We'll say that the group had set to meet a few hundred feet from this house that the map had indicated to meet Cathona. And with that, the group is back together, all 6.
Hey, hi, everybody. Everybody have fruitful ventures today, yes?
We did a lot of shopping, but we didn't spend it all. We have change. Right, Professor?
That's right.
That's good. Being responsible, being frugal. I like it. I like it.
Winnie looks guilty.
And you, Keisha, Uria, did everything go your way?
Yeah, it seems so.
We made funeral arrangements for everyone.
I
That
guess
shouldn't be necessary for me. I think you would find I'm surprisingly resilient.
I mean, it's kind of creepy. I mean, I once heard about this guy in a group who found out what everybody's weaknesses were in the group and just like kept him on a belt. I don't know, he was some kind of like bird guy, bat dude thing. I don't know, but you ain't planning on like having to fulfill those funeral requests or rites anytime soon, are you?
It was a joke.
Oh, okay. Oh, Jesus. I was worried.
You don't actually think Acacia would let me set up funeral rites for everybody?
Not hardly. No, we're all making it out of this alive.
Good stuff. Hear me word for a second.
So does the group want to head to the house then? Straight there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
walk over and I do the little knock situation.
Okay. Here. After a few seconds, Cathona answers the door. Looking a bit, not hesitant or scared, just kind of a steely face. Welcome, friends. Come in. And it's this very interesting situation because this is a residential-looking house. From the outside, it looks very normal. But almost in contrast to the helper's hideout, walk into a house that is empty of most furniture. There is a few places to sit overall. Excuse me. And a small table by the front entrance. But the first thing that you notice as you walk through the door is that about 15 feet on the other side of the door, standing in front of what looks like a door to another room, are 4 Aurora watch guards. 2 on each side of the door. 3 drow, one of them is an orc, all standing at attention as Cathona starts to move towards them.
I put my hand on the handle of my mace.
Okay. Cathona clocks that. Are you concerned of the watch being here?
No one said they would be involved.
The tunnel here is a guarded one. It was first discovered in a well. There was an offshoot of an old well here in the North Center. It's not far from here. After that was found, it was decided that it would be best to make that one inaccessible and create our own that was more guarded so that people could not stumble into something that is what we believe is very important. I handpicked all of the Aurora Watch that are here myself. They all trustworthy to me. So if you can trust me, you can trust them. But as those who are not, well, some of you at least, who are not from our land, I can understand the apprehension. And give you my assurances that you will be safe from their watch.
I mean, makes sense to me. If I had somewhere dangerous in the town I was running, I'd probably want to put somebody in front of it too. I mean, I understand, yeah, Brahunch and Yuria with it kind of being spur of the moment, not really told, but I mean, it does kind of make sense. I mean, we do know the last what we were in, hell collapsed on our heads. Imagine if just some regular people were down there, or hell, even some kids. They might not have made it out the same way.
Which makes sense for posting watch at the entrance of the tunnel. But these ones are going to escort us in.
No, they are here. Let me explain. And she kind of walks past them into the next room. Says, we have hidden our entrance here in this house. It is a cover for what will take us down into the tunnels.
Oh, very tricksy.
We are doing our best to keep the knowledge safe. It is, well, seemingly quite valuable. If you are all ready, then I can lead you there. And this room is quite basic as well. It is interesting, though, in the floor here in the stone, there is a large square placed in the center that is etched with a 12-sided object. I would say Winnie and Gloriel, you would both instantly recognize this as a depiction of a Luxon beacon. And it is very nicely done, very ornate. It seems to have been placed here, intentionally, given that, the rest of it looks like an empty kitchen, but kind of a normal kitchen. This seems to be one bit of not ritual necessarily, but one bit of embellishment in this spot, one that wouldn't be seen from outside. And Cathona goes over to the wall, and you see her trace a sigil with her hand, and where the wood is, it kind of slides over as a door leads down to a spiral staircase. Just the descent may take a bit. I apologize for the as many steps as we have to take. Hopefully you don't skip leg day.
I never skip leg day.
In my youth, when I was younger, right, I never, I would do 2, 3, 4 leg days in a row, but these days, not so much.
Understood. And she kind of puts her arm out, the crook of her arm out. Do you need assistance down then, Professor?
Oh, well, I'm not that old yet, but maybe in a couple 100 years.
Understood.
What's a leg day?
A bit of a joke. Some like to study the arcane, some are a bit more physical, and you don't want to just devote, exercises to the glamour muscles. You need to make sure and devote time to everything. But I digress. Follow me. She begins to walk down the spiral staircase. Everybody follow?
Yep.
I do.
Here we go.
Absolutely.
I kind of grab Akeisha in the towards the back, and I go, I know that you've been the one protecting us, but I was wondering if you would help me bless us, just to make sure that, funeral rites aren't necessary.
Yeah, I mean, I have my symbol ready to go at the first sight of danger.
Yeah. I kind of like, I hold my symbol and we start walking in just like a few paces, and then I kind of let go of her hand. Keep going.
As you both start to descend, a slight glow from the symbol of the Moonweaver, the symbol of the Everlight. Once you feel their eyes turning towards you this moment. As you start to descend, first for 5 minutes, every so often you hit a small plateau followed by a hallway about 25 feet long, leading to more stairs. It's hard to track what direction you end up in after the first few of those. Another 10 minutes, more plateaus. Finally, a long tunnel. For another 3 to 4 minutes, walking in what looks like mostly natural tunnels. It doesn't seem that these have any kind of tool marks. It's not smooth like a carved tunnel that might be to somewhere once you get into this tunnel. Finally, you see an opening at the end of it. Seems to be a large chamber, at least as far as you can tell, with 2 torches lighting up the archway into it. Cathona turns around to the group. Welcome to the first temple. And places out a hand for the group to move forward into the chamber.
I'm going to cast Aid twice, so that way I can cover everybody and give everybody 5 temp HP.
Nice.
It's not much, but it's something.
Juwan's gonna slowly step in and just sort of get a general sense of the surroundings. If he hears any movement or something along those lines, he just wants to make sure that we're the only ones there.
Go ahead and roll a perception check.
I was gonna ask with, is there like dim light in here?
There's the 2 torches right into the archway. If you step a little bit further in, you can see in the distance, maybe about another 125 feet or so, another 3 or 4 torches. You see little beacons of light there, offering a little bit of light around the torches themselves, but not lighting up the whole space.
All right. So with my 300 foot of dark vision, I'm kind of gonna help out Juwan to see if I see anything further down the tunnel.
Okay, great. Jordan, you can roll with advantage on that then.
That might be helpful because that first one was a 13.
Okay.
A little bit higher with a 15.
15, okay, that is better. So Juwan and Udia kind of move up and start to look around this large chamber. And I'd say the first thing that you notice is it is a very large chamber. You can see it is anywhere from 100 to 150 feet tall from the floor of this chamber up to the ceiling. Seems to be probably circular. There's no cornered edges or anything. It looks like a cave in its appearance here. You can tell as you walk through that the steps are echoing off the walls. You can almost get a sense of the scale of it. Udia, you can tell that past 300 feet, you can see where those torches are, but the walls kind of extend beyond that. This is a very large room. But with a 15, you both can look forward and see that there is a temple structure. Even from this distance with 15, you can tell it looks like it is all carved out of one large piece of stone, likely carved out of the bedrock under the ground here. If you can imagine Petra from our world, it's similar to that without being in a cliff wall, but is a very dark gray marble. from this distance, you can see that there are ornate carvings and markings on this temple. Besides that, you don't see anybody here in the cavern or any other creatures or see anything along those lines. But it does look like in the entrance to this temple, there are people beyond it. And it isn't, incredibly surprising, given that they've talked about teams being down here and needing to interface with those teams to figure out if what you saw and what they are studying are similar. But outside of the temple itself seems to be quiet. Nobody else besides the group of you.
Are the torches removable, or are they like kind of stuck on where they are?
The torches are removable. These do not look like they were originally part of anything. They're not old or anything. It looks like these are just like wooden torches with some oil in them, placed here probably by the crew as opposed to something that was left over and lit.
Okay. Can I grab one of the torches and kind of motion for Acacia to come with me and go towards what seemed to be the like religious imagery next to the in the cathedral area?
Sure. So that would be, I would say you guys are I think about 100 to 150 feet or so from this temple at this point.
Okay.
And you just wanted to go like inspect the front of it?
I like don't want to get too far. I kind of like tell her like I think there's a temple further in, and I need your help to kind of figure out if maybe I don't know something you might. And I'm sure the rest of the party probably wants to like inspect some of this other stuff.
Sure.
It's
It was
just
some time ago, but in my youth, I did train to become a priest of the Luxon. I'll join you.
That'll be definitely helpful. I know very, very little about the Luxon.
yeah.
So you head up, getting closer to this temple. Cathona kind of follows closely behind. Did Winnie, the professor, and Jawan want to stay back while the other three are doing this?
No. Juwan would be following closely.
Winnie will follow behind, and if she gets a moment where we're all paused, she will try to ritually cast Detect Magic.
Okay. It will take 10 minutes to do. So if you wanted to stop and do that, you can do so, but it would be a little bit of a wait at least.
I guess she might wait till she kind of gets into the temple while everybody's kind of hanging around. She'll try to do that if there's time.
As you approach the temple, the entrance itself doesn't seem to have any identifying features. There is a doorway, though, that is kind of a Gothic arch style, about 15 feet tall. And above the archway, there are 5 circles carved into the temple, each having a different colored gem in the center. There aren't any. I would say actually go ahead and Udia and Gloriel, if you want to roll a perception check or an investigation check on checking this temple out.
17 for me.
My first roll of the campaign is a big 6 for perception.
Okay, got it.
19 for perception.
Okay, got it. Okay. So there, let me see here. Each of the circles around these gems are interesting. You get closer up to them, and they seem to be not perfectly spherical, almost more geometric, many-sided circles. Not a circle, truly. But you can see the colors of each of them. There is a brown one on the left. Red one to the right of that. Gold in the middle. and an orange one, second to the right, and farthest right is a. It's basically clear. It's almost more diamond-like. It doesn't seem to have a color, more translucent. Beyond that, you don't see any writing on the outside here, but you can see that as you get closer, the craftsmanship is just brilliant. Every little line or every little inch has some kind of decoration on it. You have no idea how long this would have taken. Depending on how many people, it could have taken decades. And every single little bit that is carved is perfect. Perfect. There's not a single line out of place. And it feels old. Even just standing in front of it, it doesn't feel like something that's of this world. It feels something from a world long past. The architecture isn't very recognizable. It doesn't seem to ring any bells or resemble anything specifically that you've seen. But it does seem to be advanced enough to have been carved out of this with all of these just beautifully intricate decorations on this. You can see inside the 15-foot arch, and you see into a large hall. You see more torches in there, and a few people walking around, looking at them. What catches your eye most, though, is the pillars in this main hall. As you look in, it feels reminiscent now on the inside of the underground room, the underground chamber that you all found in the Creeks. And I think that'd actually be a good time to take a break before we head into the temple here.
Boo!
Starting to get some weird deja vu vibes.
Yeah, a little bit early, but I think it's a good time for it, given what's progressing here in the story. So let's call it. We got 4:57 Pacific, so that would make a 15-minute break here. Would be 5:12 Pacific or 8:12 Eastern. But we will be back in a bit. A little break here, and we'll come back to get into the temple. See you in a bit. Okay. Do a quick check to see if everyone's back.
Present.
Ready?
Here.
Howdy doody, everybody.
Hello, hello.
All right, I think it's everybody. Okay. All right. So you all stand outside this temple. Kathona looks all of you now. We have been calling it the first temple because it is the first known depiction of one of the Luxon beacons in here. Before we go in, I must impart on you all the significance of this place. This is a holy place to the dynasty, and we do not fully understand it yet. That is why it has not been shared with everyone.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, Gloriel certainly perked right up when she heard that this was, the first temple, and is very solemnly nodding, like, "Oh yes, absolutely, for sure."
Many of the things in here are already destroyed, but we have been working with those who can potentially look back into the past and unlock some of the secrets over here. You are now part of a chosen few that have been in here. Please tread lightly. And she begins to walk in. And sorry, go ahead. So that underneath there, okay. If everybody decides to follow, I guess I should ask: is there anybody who doesn't want to follow into the temple? That'd be a better way to say that. Okay. Then filing in through the large archway, you walk into a room lit by torchlight. You see ceilings 40 to 50 feet high. Immediately, it feels very similar to the chamber under the Crease neighborhood. You see that the walls look to be of the same type as the previous chamber, except here, rather than having large murals 40 to 50 feet along these walls, looks like they've been chipped away. As you walk through, you see in here a few people, mostly drow. But there are two of them along the left side wall, probably about 60, 70 feet away, or very close to the wall. They seem to almost be hovering their hands over the wall. You can see a bit of arcane glow coming off of the front side of their palms and fingers. Oddly enough, they have blindfolds on. But you also do see, coming from a doorway about 100 feet into this hall, two drow and one orc. And looks like they are carrying heavy stones of some sort. As you all walk in, on the right side of this hall, you start to see a drow, not long hair, is a male drow, wearing mostly functional clothes. There's no robes here. There's no need for any rituals or any kind of ceremony. Wearing kind of canvas pants and a cloth shirt. Not too different from some of the garb that you've seen in the pits. People working in the pits neighborhood. You see dust. But he walks up, has a pair of glasses, and a book in his hand that doesn't seem to be very thick, but you do see a quill sticking out of it, like it may be a journal. Walks up closer to the group and gives a warm nod to Cathona in greeting. And walks over to you, to the group. And now that he's closer, you can see even has a pair of suspenders on, holding up the functional pants that they're wearing. Very academic looking. As he approaches, he says, "Greetings to you all. I was very glad to get word that you had decided to travel down here. My name is Cronlin. I am of Den Miram, and I am the head of this dig." Now, I've heard very small bits, but I'm told something odd happened to all of you that may be helpful to us down here. If you don't mind, before giving you all a tour, I'd love to sit down and discuss some of the things that you saw.
The previous one that we went into, I had, there were lizard folk inside conducting some kind of ritual. There were the murals on the wall. Yuria would better be able to explain them. She seemed to have gathered some kind of information from them. I'm not very familiar with what it was we actually found out.
I just want to make sure that everybody knows I gave each of you one of these respiratory masks things before we came down here.
Good call.
So,
Yeah, everybody can add a moss breather to their inventory. Now, if you just want to make a note for that you have that in the inventory, I will actually get that built into D&D Beyond for the next session. Well, these murals, are there any of you who can tell me what was on them? Your idea?
yeah. Have you ever seen a portal?
I've seen teleportation circles. I don't think I've had the privilege of... I suppose it depends on the type of portal that you're asking about.
Planar.
Not myself. But I have studied.
Well, the murals depicted portals very similar to the ones my people guard.
And who are your people?
The Ashari.
Ah.
But they didn't seem elemental. They seem to be showing maybe the arrival of the first races. I'm not very sure. But the beings depicted in those murals are not like we are today.
In what way?
There were creatures there that don't exist now. There's missing ones from, races we know have gone extinct since the calamity. It was like seeing a painting from family, but it was generations old.
And do you remember what races were depicted?
Gabby does not, but I'm sure Uriah does because that happened like 3 days ago.
Sure. Got it. There were of the murals that you guys had seen, there were elves and dwarves. Winnie had recognized that there were also Draenasar. And
That's
then there
the
was also a scaled humanoid. And besides that, there were quite a few depictions of dragons, some that had smaller dragons as followers. And the only other thing that could be considered another race is that some of the Draenasar, the process of being turned into goblins, seemed to be playing out on one of the murals, which was a bit odd.
Yeah, the Draenazar was the one that I was thinking of that I couldn't remember that had gone extinct. Yeah.
That is interesting and odd and hard to equate that with what we know of history. Anything else that was of import?
Not that I... Some of my notes are really useless. Like, very Libra. What does that mean? Okay. Okay, so it seemed that the portals were to the Feywilds, maybe.
I guess my next question then would be, standing now here in the first temple, does it feel the same to you?
Yeah. Did you take off the murals from the walls?
No, unfortunately, we did not. We, when we discovered this temple, they had already been vandalized. It was clear that there had been nobody in the chamber for a very, very long time, and yet the depictions were destroyed. It took a bit of time to get the approvals, but we did have 3 psychometrists. They are practitioners of the arcane, as well as a very particular type of hemocraft. They can intuit things from the past. And he points over, kind of in an arm gesture, over to the 2 who are blindfolded, holding their hands over the walls. With their mix of psychometry and the control of dunamancy, a very creative solution has come about. They are destroyed now, but given enough time, they can look into the past and see what was on them. It has been a long, slow process, but we have uncovered a couple of the murals and what they would have looked like in the past. It's odd for you to speak of the Draenasar. I know a bit about their history, and I've studied them since coming down here. Tell me, what do you all know about the curse of strife and the creation of the goblin kin? he kind of almost gives a look to Winnie, kind of almost like, in particular, not wanting to step on toes, but also wanting to inform the group of the knowledge and some of the things they've been looking at.
Does Winnie know? That's something that would have been common knowledge? Or?
Sure, I would say go ahead and roll a history check.
18.
18, okay. You recognize the name The Curse of Strife. It is something that is... it comes from the stories of the Calamity. And that the Emperor of Strife, Bane, one of the betrayer gods, during the Calamity, twisted the Draenasar into what became Goblinkin. Twisted the Draenasar into hobgoblins, goblins, and bugbears. And that their original form was a little closer to elves, gold skin, black hair. A bit different. The Curse of Strife was the curse that was placed by Bane on the Draenasar. And with 18, you know that it was believed that that curse stayed and was inherited through the bloodlines. But that is more almost not a tall tale, but a bit of discrimination against the Goblinkin. There is not a curse that is, and that you would know as a bugbear now, there's not a curse that you're born into as a Goblinkin. But the Goblinkin are susceptible to the curse from those who would curse them. But you do know that most of Exandria, some of Exandria, hard to tell exactly, given that you haven't traveled very far, but just in what you've heard of the world, that they don't look kindly on Goblinkin, and that most of them are considered to be chaotic, violent, aggressive, and many people ascribe that to the Curse of Strife, even if wrongly so. But here in the Dynasty, you would know that it can be cured. Any priest of the Luxon is able to remove the Curse of Strife if it is placed on a Goblinkin, which can happen even now. But it has to be specifically placed.
That's why we don't travel too far. People don't understand it.
Yes. Now, what you have just told me here is quite interesting. This first temple, so far as we have seen, predates the Calamity. If what you saw does as well, they are tied together. Then the Draenasar were being turned into Goblinkin much earlier than just the Calamity. That Bane might have been doing that well before the War of the Gods. And that it was during the Calamity that he unleashed it upon those Draenasar that he could reach. We're challenging history together, I suppose. How would it make you feel, Bugbear, to know that your race existed back then? It was not a creation of some angry god.
Well, I suppose in some ways better. And in some ways has little to do with me now.
A wise reflection. Seems to be that you can make of it what you wish. You can draw from it either positive or negative. The lizard folk that you all saw, was there anything unusual about them?
Their leader wasn't a lizard folk. Right, Rakisha?
Katie does not remember, but if I remember correctly, they were all lizards.
No, I mean, this is Gabby talking. If I remember correctly, the priest, the leader, the one that was next to the bracers that we killed, not last, but like in the last 3, they were either dragonborn or like a dragon-blooded sorcerer.
There, so I'll just tell you guys, since you're talking about it here, I won't fault you for that, because your characters would remember. It was a humanoid woman that seemed to have a bit of scales, not fully scaled like a lizard folk, but they did have, I believe it was on their face, they had some scales.
Probably why I thought they were a dragon-blooded sorcerer.
Totally, yeah, that makes sense.
Fair assumption.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, they were humanoid, some kind. Had sort of scales on their skin, not completely scaled, but they had some scale makeup to their physiology. That, and us being informed that them usually being this deep into the city is usually a red flag.
They've been quite resistant to join the dynasty, at least as a whole. Piecemeal. A few have made it. Is there anything of note? Any other things found? Were you able to retrieve anything from there? Anything that could help us?
We found these. And she's gonna put up the bracers, kind of show up her hand.
And Cathona and Cronlin can share glance. Nothing concerning, just share a glance, acknowledging each other for a moment. Those are quite interesting. And I have not previously heard about these.
I'm being entirely honest. We hadn't either. And even we still know very little about them.
What do you know?
They're well made. And it seems like there may be other pieces. And that's what we're here for.
I see. Well, I thank you for your openness. I can repay it in kind. We have unlocked a few mirrors here as well. If what you saw in your chamber matched up, or is a of the same build as this, then I believe that what you found was older. One of the murals we have also shows Dranisar. They were not alone, though. There were goblins with them as well. And some of the images they were rescuing them seemed to be going through some sort of ritual. In some cases they were fighting them. But the Dranisar and the goblin were both depicted. Bugbears, hobgoblins, not just goblins. They seem innately tied to the Dranisar in this ancient temple. I will ask, you say that you think there are more like the bracers you have. Why do you say that?
Just a hunch. It looked, I don't remember specifically from the mural, but one of them that we saw had an individual on it, clad in some rather ornate armor. Figure maybe these are a piece of that. The Everlight led me to these, and she's leading us to the next piece.
Perhaps the Everlight and the Luxon are in cahoots. If the Everlight has led you here to find the next place, you may be in luck. The second mural was not of images of ancient creatures or anything of the like. It was a map of ancient Exandria. It was very interesting to hear that on the map where Osiris is, one of the locations was marked. There are 4 other locations on this map. Each of them a 12-sided circle. The 4th, however, much larger, and with spokes coming out of each of the edges.
Maybe you can show us this mural. Maybe.
I can't show you the mural itself. You would need years of training to be able to see that. But I can show you what our psychometrist saw. And reaches into a bag kind of behind the back. And it looks kind of, at first, like it's just a satchel, but it has a couple of cylindrical tubes coming out of it. He pulls one out. Walks over to the group. Pulls out this long piece of paper. Rolls it out. Facing you. And it's a map. Points to Osiris. Here. I believe this marks either where we are now, or where you were the last couple of days under the crates. His finger moves over the map. To the continent of Marquette. The next mark is here. Underneath Ancrel, there are ruins of an ancient city. Ancrel has the next mark. And if I were a betting man, which I am, I would bet that Cal Moro have more secrets. Moves his hand over to the other side of the map, tracing along. The other one's a bit nastier. At first, this one was hard to discern. There is an underground outpost. I don't know if that's the right word. It's called Yug Voril. In decades past, it was visited by the world-renowned heroes known as Vox Machina, where they fought.
Nisha's ears are immediately going to perk.
Where they fought against groups of creatures that often inhabit the Underdark. It is a bit difficult to find information on Yog Voril, but you know that it is old, perhaps as old as this temple itself. After realizing what was under the ground on this mark, that is the only option for that space in Tal'Dorei. And finally, moves the hand back over towards the Wildmount continent. This one is actually rather close. Are any of you aware of the ruins of Schottengrad in the Zemni Fields?
Would I have heard of
I'd
those
say
at all?
everybody can
My
roll
time
a
here?
Yeah, I'd say everybody can roll a history check. I'd say Gloriel, you can roll with advantage.
Guess 8.
8, okay.
17.
17, okay.
13. My history is not a good skill for me.
Okay, got it. Alex or Winnie, the two of you can roll too if you'd like.
Let me see what I can remember.
Oh, I doubt that I know who the fuck any of those folks are, but
Fair
Dirty
enough.
20.
Okay, Winnie got the duty 20, got it.
I've been doing a lot of reading.
Fate says 17, so I might have heard some shit.
Okay, all right. So I'd say then, the two 17s and the 20. So Uria, Juwan, and Winnie would recognize the name. It's a set of ruins in the Zemni Fields in the Dwendalian Empire where a city from the Age of Arcanum was discovered, and subsequent digs by the Library of the Cobalt Soul, the Cobalt Reserve, has been doing work for some years now.
So do we think that another piece might be here?
Yes. Schottengrad itself was a thriving city during the Age of Arcanum. But it is possible that it was built on the foundations of an even older city. There is still much that is being excavated there, and given the tenuous truce that the dynasty and the empire currently have, it has not been very easy to get approval to visit. But those are the other 3 locations that share the symbol with the one of Versailles.
Have you thought of
One-
reaching to the Cobalt Soul?
We have a bit, but we do not want to raise too many questions either. We want to tread lightly, and if I'm being honest, not be too alerting to the presence of very powerful ancient artifacts that may be there.
After all, the Cobalt Reserve is not too bad in and of themselves, and I know they oppose them, but I would worry about the Cerberus Assembly learning of anything along these lines.
Oh, and at the mention of the Cerberus Assembly, you see almost like a visible shake.
I could maybe get us a cover.
It is the closest place. A potential plan for the future, if that is something that works out for all parties involved. But I think you all need to understand, you are now one of less than 12 people in the dynasty. And all of Greater Alexandria likely that know about this. The large symbol, the one with spokes out of each of the edges. 200 miles south of Vasselheim, the Dawn City. It is marked. There is not a city or settlement, no underground structures or history of any kind that we can find on the spot. It is, for all intents and purposes, just an X on the map. but it is different than the others. And we've been working to figure out what it all means. We thought maybe it was just temples, that there were more like this that would be vandalized, and that it may or may not be worth the large amounts of effort taken to find the others. But these braces, is it something else?
Question to the DM.
Sure.
200 miles south of Vasselheim. Is that on land or on the ocean?
Let's see here. That would be like kind of in the southern island area. So potentially in the ocean, potentially kind of island area.
Okay.
Do we think that another piece might be here in this temple as well? Or just in the locations that you guys have marked out?
If the locations are indeed marking one of each of these pieces, then I think you have found it. Although, this temple and where you were, I may have a hunch they may be connected. And that brings us to the next bit of it. We found a few rooms besides this great hall. Off to the left, we have what looked to be a storage chamber. And you see the orc and a drow moving rocks out of this room currently. It seemed to be empty. There was nothing in it. Presumably left that way when this place was sealed off. We also found, points off to the right to one of the open doors. We also found an auditorium-style room. Maybe a place of learning, performance. Maybe a place of religious ceremony. We have not been able to figure that out yet. Those each had to be pulled of rubble and excavated individually. But there was a third room. There is a heavy, large stone door in the front of it. It opens rather easily, though. Inside are very powerful, very old enchantments, of which we've had a bit of a hard time identifying. There are 4 statues along each of the walls, staring in to the center. And in the middle of the room, a large golden face that is pointing to the end of the room, which has in it what looks to be an entrance to a stairwell with it almost seems like a tomb of some sort. There are things that will nullify magic in there past a point. It is a eerie place to be. And the face is looking in at the stairwell, almost as if it is guarding it. Guarding something from leaving. I am afraid to think that it is guarding those braces from leaving. But
Well, if it's keeping something in, maybe we don't want to poke it with a stick.
certainly not. But Until then, we no longer, or we do not know what is down there. And given the inclusion of the Draenasar and the temple that you found, and the one here, the gold face staring in, they feel connected at least.
I mean, if this is connected to... If this place is connected to these bracers, then I think poking it with a stick is exactly what we need to do.
Oh, bother. I was afraid you were going to say that.
Don't worry, Winnie. I'll keep us safe.
And we're coming with a pretty big stick.
Can I... So, the side rooms, you said there's 3 of them, right?
3 total, yeah.
3 total. Do any of them... So, the one that he described, I won't go check, but do the other 2 look like... Do any of them look similar to the ritual chamber we saw?
Yeah, if you were to go ahead and like poke your head in and take a look, not at all. No, They look. The one is very basic. There doesn't seem to be decorations like there was murals on the wall. It seems to be just kind of straight, this kind of gray marble wall. Yeah, it seems to be more storeroom than anything. That's what their guess is, but there's nothing really in here. The other room is more auditorium style. It is kind of half circle with benches going up and back, as if there would be somebody teaching here or somebody playing music or something like that. But neither of them seem to have any of the characteristics as that ritual room that you had seen.
All right. So if Acacia is going to go poke the room with a stick, I'm going to follow behind her. And when we get to the entrance, I want to start dripping water onto the floor and seeing if it puddles anywhere.
Okay. Was that what the group was wanting to do now? Let's head over to that area.
That's what Acacia wants to do, unless somebody's going to try and stop her.
Yeah, I'm fine following along.
Yeah, I'll definitely be following close behind.
Time to see what Gloriel could do.
Rawr.
So the party heads over to that area and come to a stone doorway. Not huge, almost the size of a standard door, with this rather than a marble is just almost obsidian-like. Has a bit of a reflective surface about it. The Cronlin, the head of the dig here, says, here it is. As I said, not hard to open. Yeah. And he kind of slides his fingers along the left side, and you see a little bit of a glow. And then as he gets down to right where the center is, the glow kind of extends outwards spirally into a circle. It kind of lights up a bit. Took us a while to figure that one out. Simple bit of magic will do. And then kind of just like moves his hand out, and it almost seems like in a weird way seems to stick to his hand as he opens it. And as this door opens, it almost feels like static electricity. Almost feels like static electricity entering into the rest of the hall as this door opens. You can see in from the doorway here the back of the head that was described, kind of gleaming in a kind of gold copper color. Unia, you take out your water and pour it onto the ground.
I'm using my ability. I'm not actually pouring my decanter of endless water.
Okay, got it. So no tea on the ground. Yeah, use your ability.
Nope, my Earl Grey is staying in my pot.
And the architecture here is just brilliant. It seems to be a perfectly balanced floor, and the water drops onto the ground. Even though it seems perfect, though, the water does seem to slowly. You have to wait a minute before you catch it. There does seem to be a slight slant that way towards the room.
All right, I'm following the water.
All right. And as I guess as the group walks in here, you see now 4 statues two on each side of the wall looking in. These statues do look rather familiar. The other rooms didn't keep any of the same symbolism or any of the same decoration. But these statues look similar to the ones that were in the ritual room. Not set up in the exact same way, but they have the same winged lizard folk looking creatures on top of them, staring. Almost, there's 2 on each wall, and the 2 seem to be staring at each other. You can see the back of the head here. You can almost feel its gaze into this area. And now you look at this described stairwell. There is something over it. It reminds you of the entrance to a necropolis or something that would be in a graveyard more than anything else. It's got 4 pillars that hold it up with arches in the middle and what looks to be old iron gates that block off any actual entrance into it. It's not huge, maybe 15 to 20 feet on each of the sides, and there are about 4 steps that walk up to a raised platform. But you can see on that platform a hole of some sort. Could be a descent or a stairwell. There's probably about 20 to 30 feet once you walk into the room before there is anything. Before you get to the statues.
I have a question. Is Winnie's detect magic still up?
Oh, yeah, that would be Winnie. If you were still doing that ritual, we could say that in the interim before going into this room, that you had to detect magic go off.
Because if not, I was gonna pop it myself.
Yeah. Winnie, go ahead and roll a perception check.
Perception check. 22.
22, pretty good. So on the way in, what you saw coming in was that the psychometrists had almost this glow about them. One of them turned their head, and you could see that their eyes just had this big glow. Like there was a lot of magical energy being focused on their eyes and coming out of their hand as they kind of waved over these damaged murals. Besides that, the psychometrists did have 1 or 2 magic items on them. Looking now around at the group here, you see various items pinging off members of the group with different various colors of magical glow about them. Cathona followed the group in here as well, and you see that she does seem to have something at her belt and something in her boot, as well as a necklace that have a magical glow as well. Although the head of the dig, Cronlin, seems to not have anything going on except for a little bit of glow on the glasses. But he is kind of staying a little bit outside, not fully out of the room, just kind of standing in the doorway, watching. Seems to be a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'd like to give those statues a once over.
Yeah, now that you're in the room, you see a lot. That static electricity feels like a magical glow coming from almost everything. When you first walk into the room, there's about 25 feet or so before you actually catch any of that glow. That's just empty space. But once it passes, once it's like the threshold of where the statues are, it almost seems to be just like the whole rest of the room is enveloped in a magical glow of just really old enchantments. Even the statue itself seems to have a separate glow from the rest of the room. The statue of the head looking in here seems to have its own glow.
Does it look dangerous?
Hard to tell with the tech magic. That gives you a aura and perhaps a magic school. You would get from the Draenosaur head, you would get transmutation. And from the statues, you would get abjuration. And from the just general rest of the room, let's see here. The rest of the room also has a bit of a abjuration glow to it. And it almost feels like you're kind of looking in it, and it almost feels like it's like a not force field, but just like a layer of thick abjuration magic as you pass the threshold of the statues, and then once you walk into it, it's a little less strong.
I don't know, guys. There's some strong magic here. I'm not sure what it's about.
Well, yeah, with the 22 and that detect magic up, you also see in front of the front left statue, a portion of the ground does have a bit of transmutation glow to it as well. Probably about a 10 by 10 area.
Don't step over there. Pointed out to the group.
Got it.
That'd probably be a bad idea.
I have an idea. I don't know if it'll work. I'm going to invoke the bracers and use my harness divine power to pull back my other second level slot, but just as a way to just invoke the power of the bracers while in this room.
Got it. Where are you doing this from? Are you like doing it near the head, or just to get a sense of where you're at?
A position that might put me sort of centered with the statues in the room.
Centered with the statues. Okay, got it. What is where's is everybody just kind of watching Acacia from behind or near or?
Yeah, Joanne stays within 10, 15 feet at the absolute most away from Acacia.
Yeah, I mean, when he's trying to get we'll try to back her up, but does not want to get in the magic field.
Okay.
It seems like bad juju.
Gloriella and her genius, I think, when he said not to go over by the transmutation area, she wouldn't have actually stepped onto it, but she would go over to take a good look at it. It's like, oh, that must be interesting.
Yeah. It's pretty normal, just like the rest of the floor everywhere. Just seems to glow about it.
I'm gonna keep. Has the water moved, or is it kind of like stationary at some point?
It's like it's not like fast or anything. It's just kind of a very slow, almost like the water's rolling over itself very slowly. If you were to wait for it, it might get all the way through, but at this point, it's moved maybe probably 10 to 15 feet away from the door, which seems like the group is a bit farther than that into the room.
Okay, I'm gonna keep watching that water as Acacia's doing whatever it is that she's doing over there.
Okay, got it.
I will say, because I totally spaced the square of transmutation magic, she's going to do it from there.
From the square of transmutation magic.
Where you said where there's like where it was radiating, where
Just
Winnie was seeing it. Yeah, from the ground there.
There was transmutation magic on the head, which you're on the backside of, and that spot in the ground.
Yeah. So from that spot on the ground.
Okay, got it.
And before she does it, she is just going to be like, "Oh, Everlight, protect me. We are here to poke it with a stick, so we are poking it with the stick."
With a stick, not with your body.
I am the stick.
Be the stick.
Let's do mage hand or something.
Everybody sees Acacia call upon the bracers to use the ability. And as she does, the gold and silver flecks that are offset against the black metal that is most of these bracers start to light up a bit. Give that glow that increases in intensity with your Everlight symbol. You feel that same magical energy flow through you, something that has been completely unique to you since you found these bracers, something you've never experienced before. Feels powerful and warm. You feel the effect go off. And you regain. I believe it was you said the spell slots is what you're going for the ability.
Yep.
Yeah, you regain the spell slots that were lost. Winnie, you start to see the fields in the room glow brighter. Seeing the intensity grow in Acacia's Everlight symbol and the bracers, the glowing fields here seem to match that growth. And as you see the dimming of the bracers, the magical field on everything else seems to continue to grow in intensity. And you look to the statue, and all of a sudden, there is just a of transmutation energy. Winnie, you can almost feel it, like a wave of it pass by you. The head starts to move up about a foot. And as it does, you start to see that this is not just one smooth copper gold statue. Plates start to move. The shape of this Draenasar head starts to change, become more spherical than like a head. Grooves start to open up, and it's this odd transformation that happens as the head starts to turn. And by the time it gets its eyes all the way to where Acacia is, the last of the plates that make up the face move around, completing this spherical object. And now that it's facing Acacia, the grooves, you see two old, rusted, large blades come out of the grooves. Two more. Until there are 9 blades coming out of the sphere. And as you watch them, they all start to spin around on the spherical object. Acacia, all of a sudden, you feel the ground beneath your feet start to shake as the stone that you are on begins to move into the wall, revealing something beneath it. Do you stay on the stone or do you step off?
Oh, God. I'm gonna stay still. She is like devout right now. She feels like the Everlight's got her back.
Okay. As the stone moves into the wall, opening up this 10-foot hole, Acacia, you fall. But it's a short drop, no more than 5 to 10 feet. You land on something. It feels cylindrical, but you feel grooves on it. You start to see it glow with rings of blue and purple energy. It starts to move upwards. You hear the sound of gearworks and feel the thrum of magic on whatever this is. And as it moves up out of the floor and into the light, everybody in this room sees Acacia riding on this arcane cannon that is coming up out of the ground. Simultaneously, as you see this cannon, this sphere with swords starts to spin them around, oscillating all around its body and moving towards Acacia. I need everyone to roll initiative.
Oh my.
Well, that's gonna go great.
Jawan's got an 18.
18, nice. Okay, got it.
I got a 7.
18, 7. What about Acacia?
13.
Winnie?
13 as well.
13 as well, and we need to redo this here.
And I had a 13 also.
Oh, 3 13s, awesome.
Yep.
Just take out the professor since he's not here.
In his younger years, he would still
He
be
would've
here,
been here.
but currently he's just gonna hide in the corner and cower.
Love it. Okay, got it.
Udia knocked him unconscious 20 minutes ago
There we go.
and didn't tell anybody. He's just like sleeping by a pillar.
Okay.
At the second in my younger years, she was just like, "You're done."
So we had Winnie and Gloria with the 13. Who was the other 13?
Yes, me.
Okay, she got it. And then Juwan and Uria. What was yours one more time?
Juwan had a
18?
18.
18, got it. And Udia.
I got a 7.
7. Okay, got it. Okay. So let's switch the view here.
How did he know we were gonna poke it with a stick?
Because everybody always pokes it.
As a DM, like
that's
you
how
put
he knows you're gonna poke it with a stick.
Yeah, as a DM, like you put things in front of your players that are pokeable with a stick, and
We do
8
it. That's our
times
job.
out of 10, yeah, we're gonna poke
My-
it with a stick. Like
My
that's
players
just what you do.
never, like my players never poke anything with a stick. I literally have to practically put a neon symbol on top of it, being like, "Poke it, come here."
I mean, that's the point of the big red button, right?
Yeah, no. They're like, "Big red button, not interesting." This mouse, like, I hate all of you.
Well, then you put mice everywhere.
So the mouse is the big red button.
Okay. There's this a little more straight. And we are starting off combat here with Jawan at 18. You are up first. What would you like to do? And this here is
Alright,
going to be
so-
Cathon. Cathona is in there with you and is there for that.
All right. So the main threat we see is the slinging blade thing at the far end of the room, correct?
That would be there, and then that's the cannon that Acacia is currently standing on.
Juwan's gonna have to intercept the spinny blades,
Okay.
and start heading that way. He's got 25 feet.
So you can go 5, 10, 15, 20. We'll put you right there.
Fantastic. And he will start a swinging at the legs.
Okay. And I will say, this thing actually had started, it got lifted up and then started floating, and that was part of that magical energy. You can certainly aim at the bottom.
Okay. I was just checking to see if... Oh, that is an action. All right. Alrighty. Then, yeah, sort of running under it and trying to sort of jump to the height that he can and just take both of his blades and drive them up through the bottom of it.
Okay.
The first one was a 26.
I think that hits. Yeah, that definitely hits.
That's good. That makes me feel better about the situation. That is 8 piercing damage.
Okay. You slice across it, digging a groove in with your sword.
And
of your metal against metal.
second is a 16.
You swipe and that just misses. You hit and the angle isn't able to drag across and create that groove this time. Your blade bounces off the bottom as you slide under.
Well, that will be it. He will keep himself sort of in a position to try and make himself the biggest target that he can at the 3.5 feet he is.
Okay. It is the Ancient Gearkeeper Construct's turn next. It, with Jawan right in front of him, needing to move through, it's going to take its first Rusted Armblade attack. And that is a 22 to hit.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Okay. You're going to take 11 points of slashing damage as one of the rusted blades comes down and slices you across your torso as you're trying to make yourself an intentional target for this thing.
Good thing for those temporary hit points.
Okay. And it is going to change its orientation just a bit, seeing Acacia over there on the cannon. A small hole in its center opens up. As Jawan, you see an electrical buildup on the outside of this, and it shoots out towards Acacia. And that is a 17 to hit.
It does not hit. Shield just...
It hits the shield, and this lightning attack of some sort goes and spreads out, dispersing over the shield, not able to gain purchase on Acacia. Although, as you feel that static electricity, it feels almost stiff around you. But you move through, shake it off, ready to go, thinking of the Everlight. As, let's see here, it is also going to take some movement. And it is going to go around 5... 10. That would move out of Jawan's range if you want to do an oppo attack.
Absolutely. 18.
18. That
Sorry, I
hit?
had to throw
Yeah.
it in there. It was perfect.
Oh, yeah, you got to do it. Yeah, that hits. Go ahead and roll some damage.
All right, that'll be 9 points.
9 points is you, after that hit that didn't quite make it in, you get the angle you need and slash down. You're able to actually get into the groove and push into some of the components inside. That's how you do it. You got it figured out now. It's going to use the rest of its movement and go up here. Not able to move through Gloriel. It will stop there. Acacia, you're up next.
So I'm going to summon my spiritual weapon for the first time
Nice.
and bring it right by the construct and take a swing at it at the same time that she's simultaneously taking and swinging down on top of this cannon. So they move in sync with each other.
And what was the form that the weapon is taking?
It looks identical to the mace that she has.
Nice.
It looks
Okay.
just
It
identical to it.
comes down and go ahead and roll an attack.
That's a 25
Yeah, definitely hits.
for 9 force damage.
9 force damage. Nice. Juwan, after your hit, you see this large mace. You recognize it as a larger version of Acacia's mace. Just come down, slam down on it.
And then do I need to roll an attack for the cannon that I'm standing on top of?
Yes. But go ahead and roll it with advantage.
18 to hit.
18. Yeah, that hits. Go ahead and roll some damage.
5.
5 points as you take your mace and just starting to try to dent it and break whatever this cannon is and what it can do. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Let's see here. Gloriel, you're up next.
Okay,
standing down against this construct that has blades whirling up against you.
Yes. First off, I don't think it's not quite relevant yet, but do we use flanking rules?
Yes, flanking for melee.
Okay. So actually, I'm going to slide over one square towards the cannon just to make it a little bit get between. Yeah, there. And then I would like to use my bonus action to rage.
Like to rage. First rage.
I will say Glorielle's rage is more of a cold rage than a.
Okay.
But yes, no, she would like to rage. And as tempted as I am to go for the big hit, I want my first hit attack to actually hit. So she, takes out her axe, does a big full circle, and tries to slam it into the side recklessly into the side of the construct.
Nice. Okay, go ahead and roll that attack. Oh no! With advantage? Oh
with
no!
advantage.
Ugh.
I rolled a 3 and a 5.
There is a bit of hesitation here, as it's been some time since you've been in true combat like this, and you raise your axe, swing down, and ready to make the strike, and you do so, but it just rings out against this construct.
Okay, sadly, that's my turn.
Okay. Winnie, you're up next.
Oh, good lord. All right. So that cannon is pointing in a straight line across.
It is. So if you are moving 5 feet up, then you're in its line. But it is, yes, pointing straight across.
All right. And I think I will move 5 feet back and make sure it's not in its line.
Got it.
And then I will cast Firebolt at it.
At the cannon?
At the cannon, I think.
Okay.
Well, maybe I better do the. Let me do the spinny thing.
Okay. Got it. As it's spinning, when he raises the hand and throws a fireball, go ahead and roll an attack.
All right, 10.
No, unfortunately, it just dissipates over the outside of this construct. Hard to find a good place to deal fire damage on this thing.
When he just starts screaming and running around.
Okay, got it. Right. Yeah, crying's a free action. So, Udia, you're up next.
All right. Here we go. I'm gonna get in front of the cannon.
Okay.
Yep. And I'm going to cast my spiritual weapon,
Okay.
because that's always fun.
So there's now a spiritual weapon mace and a spiritual weapon fish.
And the spiritual weapon is, I'm gonna cast it so that it's opposite of Joanne to the side of the sphere.
Okay. So we're talking. Let me get some tokens here for the.
It's not a herring. We agreed that it was a salmon.
Okay, we'll use these for now. That'll be that one, the mace back there, and you were wanting it here or opposite?
No, opposite. Yeah.
Opposite. So over there. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So that'll be fish.
Uh-huh. So, with my shield kind of like trying to block the whatchamacallit?
The cannon.
The cannon. Oh no, I think this one, motherfucker, it needs to be a creature. All right, okay, that's fine. Does there seem to be like a mechanism or something in the cannon?
You could take the time to look and do an investigation check if you wanted to, but that would be your action.
Nah. Okay. All right. So my spiritual weapon's gonna attack the spinny situation.
Okay, got it. Go ahead and roll an attack for the fish.
Where are you, fish? Where are you? Oh, come on! This is 16.
16. Unfortunately, that just misses. You. It almost sounds now like the group is gonging a bell as these hits and attacks go against this construct.
All right. So since it looks like we're in a hairy situation and Winnie is screaming, I am going to use my channel divinity to Twilight Sanctuary.
Okay.
So at the end of each person's turn, while you're within 30 feet of me, you get 1d6 plus 3 temporary hit points.
Twilight clerics. And what's you said within 30 feet?
Yeah.
Yeah, not a super big room, so that'll be clutch.
Yeah. So remember to do that at the end of your turn.
Okay. All right. So next is the arcane cannon. With Udia standing right in front of it, the arcane rings, or the rings with arcane runes on them, start to spin, every other one spinning in opposite direction in either a purple or a blue colors, until finally click, and it shoots out at Uria right in front of it, and that is going to be a 19 to hit.
That just hits.
As this arcane blast shoots out, it's going to deal 15 points of fire damage. As it hits the shield and just wraps around it and blasts you. That is the end of its turn. And that will be Cathona is going to go last. And as everything is happening here, Winnie, from the perspective where you're at, you can see that she starts to weave together threads of shadow and pull them in to create a sword of solidified magic or darkness or gloom. You're not quite sure. That she runs over here after seeing the blast that Rhea took, moves to this side of the cannon, and is going to start making an attack against it. First one is going to miss with a total of 10 to hit. Second one will hit, though. And that is going to be... Ooh, nice. You see, Udia, now after you take the hit and Acacia on top of this cannon, you see this blade of energy slash down and deal 16 points of damage to this arcane cannon as it creates a huge gash in the side of it. And some of the rings start to have a hard time spinning. That puts us back to the top of initiative with Jawan.
Alrighty, well, seeing this sort of opening and distraction that Gloriel has helped create, I'm going to slide over there to the right, over to the backside of the spinning blade mechanical thingy.
That one there?
Yep, around the backside of it.
Oh, okay, this, oh, I see.
Yep. All the way over. And go ahead and make a couple attacks, I do believe.
And you get an advantage for flanking with Gloria on that one.
Wow. About a 23 to hit on the first.
Yeah, that for sure hits.
And go ahead and agitate the swarm this time as well to add an extra d6. So that is 11 plus... Oof, a 1. Oh, wait a minute. Once per turn when you... With an attack, I guess that's a part of it. So 12 points total.
You now are
For the
getting the
first.
hang of slashing into these grooves rather than on the outside of this construct. You're able to do so this time with the fleas kind of hanging on and going in, trying to deal a little bit extra damage on the inside as you hear dealing some flea damage.
And the second attack, 13. That is not
13 is
do
going to
it.
miss. Yeah, this time you go for that groove, point your sword in there, but as you do, the plates are shifting, so it stops your jab from going in.
All right, and that will be it.
Okay.
Your temp hit points.
Yeah. It's a D6. Is that what I heard?
1d6 plus 3.
Copy.
Nice.
Ooh, and a max with 6. So I'm gonna go ahead and slap on them 9 temp points.
Okay.
Thank you.
By the way, in case anybody else didn't notice it, Winnie reminded me that aid increases your max HP by 5. It's not 5 temp HP, it increases your max HP by 5, so it's not affected by the temp HP.
Nice.
Yeah, there's an option for that in D&D Beyond if you didn't know.
Very cool. Okay. It is the Gear Keeper Construct's turn next. Being surrounded by 2 spiritual weapons and 2 melee attackers, it is going to slash its rusted arm blade down at Gloriel this time, standing in its way. And that is going to be an 18 to hit.
That will hit, but actually, if you didn't roll, it should be rolling an advantage against me.
Ah, that's right, for Reckless. Thank you for the reminder. That one is not any higher.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so that is going to be 15 points of slashing damage against Gloriel. While raging, that would be reduced down to 7. As it slashes across, jabbing in for a strike with its sword.
Roger, roger.
Seeing Acacia still on the cannon, it is going to make another ranged attack as it... And the hole opens up, shooting its attack.
Disadvantage because of the melee?
Shooting at you. I don't think you're within melee range.
No, but isn't it if something is within melee range of it, it takes disadvantage for ranged attacks? I don't know if they technically have a term for it, but I think it's called like threatened or whatever. But like if something's in melee with it, but it's not always. I think it's raw, but it's your table, your call.
Sure. Usually, let me see here. Because usually the way I run it is that if it's ranged attack within 5 feet,
that's fair.
Then
Your table, your call.
Let me see. I want to make sure and get it right though too. Aiming a ranged attack is more difficult when a foe is next to you. When you make a ranged attack with a weapon, a spell, or some other means, you have disadvantage on the attack roll if you're within 5 feet of a hostile creature who can see you and who isn't incapacitated. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. You got it. So let's give that a second roll.
Didn't mean to. I'm actually there. I
No,
apologize.
that's totally okay. I'm okay with those things, and I want to make the right ruling. So I appreciate you letting me know. And yeah, let's get the second roll here, Chris.
And it will, of course, work that way against us too. So you know.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Double-edged sword, double-edged rusted arm blade. All right. So the second one is going to be much lower. That is a 10 to hit.
That does not.
Okay. As it shoots this electrical energy once again, rolls out over the shield, and you are not hit by the attack. But you are up next.
Second verse, same as the first. We're gonna crack down on the cannon and the construct simultaneously. We'll roll the cannon first. 7 to hit.
Does not hit the cannon, just more thung. It's almost like it's discordant thung thung dun, dun. All these hits against these gear construct type things.
12 for the
No,
construct.
No, dun, dun. Fortunately not.
That's it.
Okay. L'Oreal, you're up next.
Okay, so she looks back at the cannon, is clearly thinking about turning around to take a swing at it, but then sees that she's got the blade construct flanked with Joan, and decides to turn back around and just take another swing at the blade construct.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an attack.
Hey, that's a 24.
Yeah, definitely hits.
So that's 11 slashing and 8 radiant. Oh, actually +2 on top of that from my rage, because D&D Beyond doesn't do the rage.
Got it. So 21 points total. As the first hit kind of caught you off guard, now raging in that cold anger, you grip your axe tighter. You can hear your grip tightening around it, and you take a swing, and it, rather than making that loud thung that rings out, you break through, make this hole in this construct. One of the blades kind of tries to move through its grooves, stops.
And that's my turn.
Okay, Winnie, you're up next.
Okay, then he's gonna run around in a circle and scream and cast firebolt again
Okay.
at the thing with all the knives. Let's see here. Every skill she has requires it to be a creature. Dirty 20.
A dirty 20 hits? Yeah, go ahead and roll some damage.
All right. A D10. All right. Oh, 3 fire damage.
3 points of fire damage is now the hole that Gloriel has made, gives you a little bit of room to throw your firebolt in, and you deal 3 points of damage as the firebolt goes in and starts to melt some of the inner workings of this Gearkeeper construct. It's starting to now slow down in some of its swings, and the damage that you all are doing is starting to affect how it's able to operate. Anything else for your turn, Winnie?
That's all. That's my only thing that doesn't require it to be a creature.
All right. Uriah, you are up next, reeling from this arcane cannon blast directly at you. You are now standing in front of it.
All right. I just want to make sure that I describe this correctly, but I want my shield to be covering the exit of this cannon.
Totally.
Like, I want whatever explosion happens to be contained within the cannon and potentially blow up its internal mechanisms.
I will say you can certainly try.
We
I
will
would say
see.
from the hit that you just took, it would take a considerable amount of force. If you want to use your action to make an athletics check to really push and hold it on there, you can do so, and that would probably alleviate some of the damage if that happens again.
All right, I'll do that.
Go ahead and roll an athletics check then.
Oh, God. Ooh, it's a 12.
A 12? Okay, got it.
And then my fish will attack.
Okay. Man, I was going to do a fish sound effect, but fish don't really make noise, so.
No, it's just like a plop. Motherfucker. Okay. You know what? Today's not my day. It's just not my day. I'm gonna continue being a meat shield and just stand here and hope to explode this cannon.
With everything
And-
happening around, it's hard to get a good idea of where to hit, and the fish just ringing this thing like a bell.
Make sure y'all have your 10 hit points.
Yeah, anybody who didn't roll for hit points can still go back and do that if you did not do it on your turn. Okay. So, with the here up next, it's going to start to spin around again. And what I'll do for you, Uria, on this one is for every point you had rolled above a 10 would give you that much extra AC. So we'll bump your AC up to 20 for this against this attack. And that is actually a 15 to hit.
Nope.
So you see these rings turn, and right as it starts to fire, your shield begins to glow, along with your symbol of the Moonweaver, and you feel like you have tidal forces. That's what it reminds you of, is being in the ocean and having the ocean pull you out. You feel like there's tidal forces pulling you towards this cannon and holding your shield up against it. And as it blasts, it will do some damage to itself.
Fuck yeah.
That's going to deal a total of 15 damage to itself. As it, Acacia, you're on top of it, and you feel it kind of bump as it takes its own blast to itself, and starting to look like steam and sparks coming from this thing. That is going to be Cathona's turn next. She is going to, let's see here. Seeing that the cannon is pretty messed up, and looking at Udi and Acacia there, she says, "You look like you've got this." Disappears and lands across from the construct. It's going to make an attack. 2 attacks. Same thing as last time. First one hits, second one doesn't. And it is going to be another 8 points of slashing damage down to this creature. She now starts to move her energy blade into the grooves of this creature, trying to whittle it down even more.
Quick question.
Sure.
Does my spiritual weapon count as a flanking?
I would say no, but
No, okay.
Yeah, not in this case, unfortunately. Yeah, got to be a full character. Okay, we're back at the top of initiative with Jawan. And something that I forgot to do here, but we will do this time. If you start your turn within 5 feet of this thing, then you take...
Ooh, I take damage?
You take damage.
Hey!
If you are starting your turn, you take 5 points of slashing damage.
5 points. I'll take it.
Okay. And it is your turn.
Because I know I'm going to comfortably deal well more than that this turn, I'm going to go ahead and roll a couple attacks. Let's start with a natural 20.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
And
go ahead and roll
because-
some damage on that.
And because I have the Piercer feat, when I score a critical hit, I also roll an additional damage die. So that is 2d6 for the sword, plus the extra d6 for my swarm.
Nice.
What's this? 3, 6, plus 4, 8, 12, plus 5, 17 points of piercing damage on the
nice.
first.
This hit now it just represents all the learning that you've done, even in just this 20 seconds of combat. You're now learning its moves, learning its grooves, learning the sequence that it's moving. You wait till the sword moves. The biggest spot yet has opened up. Boom! Jam your sword in, and the fleas unleash, and you hear starting to eat away at the gears and inner workings of this construct.
Right, and I will go ahead and take my bonus action strike too.
Okay.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20 hits. Yeah, go ahead and roll some damage.
Alrighty. I just want to make sure. Yes, I did take. I wanted to make sure I took 2 weapon fighting. I thought I did, but I was like, I've been playing a couple different characters here recently, so I wanted to make sure. Yep. 7 points of piercing damage.
After the follow up to the last hit, you're able to go in to get that extra damage, and now you see smoke, sparks. It's looking rough. Anything else?
That'll be the end of it.
Okay, it is the construct's turn next. Seeing how everything is playing out currently, it is going to spin, making 2 blade attacks this time at the one who is still standing in front of it, stopping it from moving forward where it wants to go. First attack.
Why I'm here.
What's that?
Said that's why I'm here.
Yep. First attack against Gloriel is going to be a 15 to hit.
That actually does not hit.
Oh, after your huge strike against it, you take up your battle axe and are able to just block the sword as it comes down. Second one. That one's a natural 20.
That's unfortunate. It's okay.
All right. Not a super high damage roll, though. That is going to be a total of 17 slashing damage, reduced down to 8.
Yeah, so it doesn't even get through my temporary hit points.
Oh, man. Oh, boy. Okay. And with that, it is stuck where it is at. It's just going to wildly spin, swiping through the air, trying to get through to its quarry. Speaking of, Acacia's up next.
Right, swing on the cannon. 21.
21 hits.
4 damage.
4 damage as you, not a huge hit, but you find a hole and are able to get in there. You are actually able to break off one of these rings that's surrounding it. It still seems to be working and moving, but it's on its last leg.
And the mace is going to come flying in from the side and hit the cannon with a 24.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, go ahead and roll damage on that.
8 force damage.
8. Go ahead and flavor. I wouldn't call it a fatality because it's a cannon, but go ahead and flavor how this cannon is destroyed for me here on this one.
So, as Acacia sort of rears back on this big swing, everybody sees the mace sort of circle around the construct, and she swipes in at the cannon, and as she does, the spiritual mace sort of interlaces over top of her mace, and they both hit simultaneously as the mace continues to carry through the other side and come back out.
And with Udia continuing to hold the shield up against it to stop from any blast, the 2 maces just and shatters, and you keep your balance, falling down onto the ground, landing in a cool 3-point pose after the pieces of this thing just go flying. Got it. Anything else for your turn?
You just like yeeted Acacia off that cannon, like it's fine. This resin won't break. I'm going to rush up to the construct, just slightly back, so that way I'm not standing directly in the spinning.
Got it.
The spinning blades.
Okay.
We're gonna try to roll in for those. That max. Nope, still another 5. So 8 temp HP. Got it. Oh.
Get it. Okay, Gloriel, you are up next.
Okay, do I take that damage to the top of my turn?
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, that is going to be 4 points of slashing, reduced down to 2.
Okie dokie. Seeing the cannon blow up, I'm just gonna take another slash. Flap flap.
Okay, you raise your large great axe. Go ahead and roll an attack.
Out of curiosity, how is the construct looking?
Oh, it's looking pretty rough. You see sparks flying out of different grooves. You see smoke coming out of the top of it. You see it's kind of like twitching, kind of.
Natural 19 for a total of 26.
Definitely hits. Go ahead and roll some damage on that one.
See, that's why I'm taking champion down the road. 10 slashing and 6 radiant.
6. That is enough. Go ahead and flavor that fatality for me, Gloriel. How do you kill this thing?
Well, she takes a swing with her axe, and I would say cleaves off one of those blade arms clean, and she rolls around and swings and chops off one of the legs, and then she does one last overhead one straight down to whatever sort of a head it has, and sparks go just exploding all around.
And you bring it down, just making another hole into this thing. And as you do, you pull down your rage now, guiding you to, or giving you strength to move all the way through. You feel that divine power as you push all the way through it, and it stops moving. And all the pieces of this construct explode outwards. I need everybody but Winnie to roll me a dexterity saving throw as this thing creates a shrapnel blast as it dies.
Kaboom. Yes. Natural 2 for 9.
Ooh, ouch. So a 9 fails. What about everybody else?
I don't know if anyone else has noticed, but I really enjoy the consequences of my actions.
What was it? A dexterity saving throw?
Dexterity saving throw, yeah.
That's a natural 1 for a total of 3.
Ooh, ouch. Udia and Jawan both fail. How about Acacia and Gloriel?
I think I was muted, so I was 16.
16. That does save.
7.
7. All right. So, and then I need to roll for Cathona. She rolls a total of a 16, which is enough to save as well. Okay. So, and Gloriel's raging too. So. And with that, everybody who failed takes 30 points of damage, of piercing damage.
Ouchie.
That would be 15
Yikes.
for Gloriel, reduced down to 7.
So question, what's the timing on this? Would I have gotten my end of turn temporary hit points, or would this happen before I got those?
It would have happened before, yeah, because as it dies, yeah, it explodes, so it would be before that, unfortunately.
Just making sure.
Yeah. And as it blasts out, shrapnel hits the characters. But that does actually. Is there anybody who is out? Because if so, we should stay in.
Looks like Gabby is down. Or
Okay.
you're right.
All right. So we're going to stay in initiative then. Gloriel, it is still your turn if there's anything you want to do. The construct is now destroyed, but Lydia is unconscious.
Who's up?
Gloriel, if you want to do anything on the rest of your turn, you can. If not, then Winnie's up.
Once again, I was muted. I don't know.
Oh, no.
All right.
Okay, first session,
yeah,
you did.
no, I think I just would have rolled around and seen that area was down and just call out and be done.
Got it. All right, then Winnie, you're up next.
Oh, shit. She's going to run over to Yuria. And she's going to give Acacia a dirty look. Like, what kind of special idiot are you? As she puts her hands on Yuria and casts Cure Wounds.
Okay. We'll say then with that healing that we are out of combat as Lydia comes back to consciousness. bloody and full of shrapnel, like most of the group currently is. And with that, we are out of combat.
Just for the sake of making sure everybody's okay, I'm going to use my channel divinity for Balm of Peace and give everybody 10 healing. So everybody heals 10 above what they were at.
Okay. And with a bit of healing now, everybody kind of catching their breath, trying to figure out what the hell just happened. You notice now that the door to this room is closed. Not sure if it's stuck, if it closed automatically, if it was closed behind you. The stone door is closed currently. Cathona kind of catching her breath also. You see the blades just disperse like a cloud in a breeze. And she looks around to the group and says, well, you all are some crazy motherfuckers. And that's where we're going to end the session for the evening.
But we get shit done.
That's right.
Well, thank you everybody for tuning in to this session of Sanctums and Spies. We do have now only one spot left open with the joining of L'Oreal here in the group. So if you are interested in joining Sanctums and Spies and helping out in this campaign, you can check out the link to startplaying.games. Otherwise, we will see you next week for the next one. Catch you later.